Welcome back to A Thousand Eyes in One. I'm Tanya,
I'm Nikki. Welcome back.
and tonight we're talking about Season 1, Episode 5 of The Wheel of Time, called Blood Calls Blood.
Blood calls blood.
We'll talk about that title later, too. Whew, this was a heavy one.
This is, yeah.
Before we get into it, though, I do want to bring up two things from last episode that got cleared up in our comments. The first one, about Rand's dream. Someone pointed out that an anvil and hammer is usually used to fix things, and so that perhaps in the dream, Perrin was trying to fix his dead wife. Remember, we see him hammering the body? So I thought that was interesting.
I really like that insight.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. I hadn't thought of that. Makes sense. I like it.
Me too.
Hammer down. That's canon now. Thank you. Just bang my gavel. Also,
Bump, bump, bump.
also, it was clarified for us that warders basically go into a berserker rage when their Aes Sedai dies, and that they usually don't outlive them very long. So then that
Yeah.
made me think that Lan and the other warders should have done a better job of stepping in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that they didn't expect, like, he felt it, but he didn't express to them that he had felt her
Well,
die.
he said Karenni to him. Like
Yeah.
Lan saw him like stumbling and like something was happening to him, and then he said Karenni. So
Right.
he had to have known.
Yeah. They should have, like, thrown him to the back, not let him be the first one in.
Yeah.
And just, yeah.
So anyway, that got kind of cleared up for us, and also obviously got cleared up more this episode, but we'll get into that later. Man, can we do this instead of scene by scene? Let's talk about character by character. Would you like to start with Matt and Rand and their journey to this point? I feel like they had the least amount of action, I think.
Sure, we can do that. My note was like that he was snapping at FDK. As Tanya recently schooled me, which means fuck them kids. And I was like, because he like snapped on them. But also I was laughing a little bit because he is such a grumpy ass traveling companion. He's like your homie who you think you can go on a road trip with, but then like after a day of not getting any sleep is a total asshole. I mean, granted, we all know that he's being taken over by the darkness and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, he looks terrible. He's obviously very sick.
He looks terrible. He's sick. He's tired. He's like racked with guilt about, the family that he thinks that he killed, and he isn't sure if he's not sure whether he did it or he didn't. And he keeps having Rand reassure him that it wasn't him, but he can't be sure. He doesn't know. Like the only other witness is missing and presumed dead. But you know how I feel about off-screen death. So.
Oh no, we haven't seen the end of Tom. Like I don't think Tom's dead at all. But, yeah, I feel for Matt. The guilt he's feeling, thinking he killed a whole family, especially a little girl. And then
and one who gave him a gift, like who's like
Right.
so clearly a strong reminder of his sisters, who he has no idea how they're faring because we know their parents are trash.
Oh man, his parents are such trash.
Oh my god. What I really liked about Rand too is that in this is that you can tell that he's being super protective of him.
Yeah.
He's letting him get away with being a dick, but he's being super protective by like they've arrived at Tar Valon, and they're not, he's not going straight to the White Tower.
Right.
He's like, no. I know what happens to them, and he knows what happens if they were to gentle him or if they found out that he was a channeler. So he's telling Matt like, hey, no, it's like a spiritual holy place. This is a place that we can't go all dirty and tired. We need to get cleaned up. When in reality, he's basically stalling and biding his time before he has to make that move, because he doesn't really know what's going on with him.
Right. He still
and
thinks
he hasn't seen him channel yet.
No, he hasn't seen him channel, but he thinks because of his attitude change that he's channeling. What did you think of the first look at Tar Valon?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Right?
I love the city. It reminds me of the Citadel.
And you know what
Those
I
are my
found
thoughts.
interesting? The walls with the balconies reminded me of what I guess Shadar Logoth would have been before it
Yes.
became an evil place. It looked
There were a couple scenes where I thought that's where they were, and I was like, oh wait, no, they're not
yeah,
there
but it
anymore.
was like a similar
Yeah.
built city it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Um we meet Loyal, the Ogier.
Love him already. Big fan.
So one thing in the books, because I'm not really doing a lot of book stuff, but in the books, um, Rand thinks he's a Trolloc when he first sees him.
Oh, interesting. But he doesn't look. I mean, I guess I
But
don't
I
know
mean,
how
if
they
you've never
describe them in
seen
the
an
book
Ogier
because,
or a
yeah,
Trolloc,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I could see how you could easily, let your imagination complete the two.
yeah. So that was just like an
Yeah.
interesting thing. Another interesting thing is that Loyal calls him an Ailman because of his hair.
Yes. Like, and it is insisting upon it.
Hmm.
Like I wrote, that was in my notes. He like says it like two or three
Yeah,
times.
he's like, an Ailman. He's like, no, I'm from the Two Rivers. He's like, oh, an Ailman from the
It's
Two
like,
Rivers.
oh,
And he's like, no, I'm not an
yeah,
Ailman. He's like, oh, an Ailman from the Two Rivers who insists he's not an Ailman.
yeah. I was like, oh, are you like a Drax? Are you gonna take everything really literally that we say? Because
another
that's
another
cool.
like book thing that they'll probably talk about. It's not like spoiler, but he
Hmm.
mentions how humans age so fast. In the
Yeah.
books, he's like 100 years old and considered a child.
Aw, cute. So he's still a baby.
Yeah, pretty much. So I remember enjoying his character a lot, so that'll be
Yeah.
fun to.
I'm really enjoying just like the acting of his character.
Yeah, like when.
Right? It's very, very instantly endearing,
Hmm.
like not at all scary. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
And you notice how he kind of just drones on without noticing.
This motherfucker doesn't shut
Without,
up.
like, does not notice that no one's listening anymore. Like when he reunites them with the Nynaeve, and you hear him still talking
Hmm.
in the background, and they have completely
Yeah.
shut him out.
Yeah, he's like all preamble and like just get to the meat of the
Right,
story. Like don't bury the lead.
right.
Let us know why we're here.
Yeah, that was I like him. That was I
Hmm.
meant to look up who played him, but I didn't see it right away, and I
I meant
gave up
to
very
too.
quickly because I'm trying to avoid IMDb because I don't want to be spoiled. Yeah.
Spoilers. Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple things that I wrote down that I wanted to let me flip in my notes that I wanted to look up, like the book that he was reading.
Oh, Lane
Um
the I mean Jane
Jane
the
Jane Farstrider, but then also the one that he picked up or where he opened it up and he was said the Karathian cycle.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was either.
What's that? If it's not a spoiler, put it in the comments so we can know because I don't know and I'm afraid to look it up because I don't want it to be ruined. That and I also wanted to know more about where Loyal came from, the steading.
Hmm. I remember Dana mentioned wanting
Yeah.
to see an Ogier steading.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
yeah. Now we know
Uh,
what an Ogier is because she says it and then doesn't
yep.
explain it, obviously. And then we meet
Yeah.
one. So, um,
Good times.
the false dragon procession. Why do you think Logain was laughing at them? Did you notice? It's like he
Because he
sensed
could.
them.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I thought. I wrote down real, recognize real, or
Blood
madness
calls
in the
blood.
situation. You know, I was like, he recognizes him. He like not necessarily him, but like the force, the power, whatever is within him, and maybe like he doesn't have access to the one, right? But maybe like the madness that the voices are telling him that hey,
Hmm.
there's another one. Maybe he's laughing because he sees the folly of it, and recognizes like maybe you're gonna be in the same cage or in the same situation as me. Um, but I thought it was very eerie,
Hmm.
very creepy. I enjoyed the sinister laugh of madness because there were two things that I thought. I was like, well, is he really looking at him and making eye contact and laughing at him? Because they at the last scene when they cut away from him and they show him again, he's just sitting in the
Hmm.
cage. And so it made me wonder if that Matt had imagined that, if that's something that he only saw
Mm.
because Rand, didn't react the same way that I thought he would have. Because when I watched it again, like if he had seen him laughing at him,
Yeah.
he would have been like, "Oh, what the fuck is that about?" But he kind of just looked at Matt like, "You okay, bro? You okay? Like I know that's him, whatever, but are you okay?" So I'm not sure if it happened for real or if it was in his
Oh,
head.
that's interesting. I hadn't considered that.
Hmm.
Oh, now I gotta watch again.
And it's just because of the way that it was edited. Because when he laughs and then they show Matt, and then when they show him again, he's just sitting like in his little cage.
I'm gonna have to watch again and look for that.
Yeah, unless it's a continuity thing, like how the fuck Rand got his coat back. But we'll leave that alone.
I mean, they went back to his hotel room and got his bow and arrows as well, and his
Yeah,
sword, the sheath for his
no big
sword.
deal.
And...
Yeah, whatever. I'll allow it.
Oh,
I'll allow it.
random aside, when Nynaeve was talking about the sickness Egwene had, as she was describing it, I was like, oh shit, she had tetanus,
Yeah,
break
right.
bone
Those
fever.
are
I was
like
like, that sounds
all
like tetanus. It's like she just needed her tea
so
back.
scary.
Another
Yeah.
book thing. I promise the last book thing. When Moiraine first meets them or meets Nynaeve, she's talking, or is it Egwene? I can't remember, but she was talking to them about how when you first start to develop the ability to channel, how so many girls become really sick. And like for a lot of them,
Oh.
it almost kills them. Yeah,
Oh.
that was something that was in the book. So I don't know if that's
Wow.
like what's happening, why she told that story in the show. And I feel like that's not really
Yeah.
spoiler because she just told the story, but and
Mm-hmm.
we've seen them both channels, so like that's not really like spoiler,
Right.
but she said that,
But that's like a nod to the book
yeah,
material.
I think
Yeah.
she asks her if um she had ever gotten like severely ill and
Mm-hmm.
like miraculously recovered, because it was like I guess a lot of girls when they first get the ability to channel, a lot of them die. They get really sick and die. Like
Oh
they
my
don't all
God.
survive. So
Fuck is that about?
I don't honestly, I
That's
don't
not cool.
remember.
Oh gosh. How horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're filtering out the worthy or unworthy rather.
I
Ooh.
mean, we'll see.
Oh.
Um, what else happens with Matt and Rand?
Well, they get reunited with Nynaeve, and then he snaps at her.
Yelling at her not to touch him, and then
Remind.
you hear all those whispers. Every
Mm-hmm.
time he snaps, you hear those whispers.
Yeah, he snaps at her, and it reminds me of when they try to take the ring away from Bilbo, and he
And his
they're
eyes
like
get dark
ah,
underneath really
his
quickly.
eyes get all yeah, and his teeth get all
Yeah.
pointy. Ugh, yeah. But then I mean, I don't know. It's like they're sitting out. Her and Rand are sitting there talking, and she's like, you did the right thing by not going to them. You did the right thing protecting them. I'm gonna make sure all of you are taken care of. And because she still doesn't know if she can trust them or not.
Right. But she also
And
hasn't told Matt and Rand that she can channel.
no, she hasn't. But I think maybe it slipped her mind. She's still
I don't
sick.
know. That's a
She does.
pretty big detail to leave out, that you channeled enough power to
To be like, hey, I
heal a
can.
room full of dying people.
Yeah,
Like she didn't channel
I
just a
don't
little
know.
bit.
But you think is it well? Because no, because Loyal is not there in that scene. So I don't know. I mean, why is she holding secrets back? Maybe is it for their own protection? Who
Could just
knows?
be fear.
Um, could be. Could be. Maybe she does Yeah, I don't like. Maybe she's got her reasons for keeping secrets, and they're in a new city, and we don't know if the walls have ears, and and I mean, and Moraine told her, she's like, she's got her little birds everywhere in the city, right? So yeah, keep the secrets close. I'm not mad at her not telling them. I don't know. Maybe
I'm
I'm
not
just maybe
necessarily
I'm just
mad
patient.
at
I feel
her.
like everything will be revealed. And mad is
Yeah.
like too strong of a word, but you know, I feel like she's got her reasons and I trust her, whatever they may be.
It seemed like, let's talk some more about Nynaeve. Obviously Andron's trying to recruit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Leandrin, I mean, because she's so powerful.
Exactly. She sees her, and when she's talking to Moraine about her later, she's like, "Listen, she's powerful. She's gonna need guidance. You tend not to be around.
Mm-hmm.
She seems like she could fall in line with what we do, and like kind of like shy with our ideology." And Moraine's just looking at her. She's like, "Well, she doesn't know her that well, but she knows her a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that she is a recruit for not the Reds. But we did get to hear about the Yellows, who I
The
did not know
Yellows,
existed.
who
Are they the healers?
they must be healers. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember that there are other Ajas, and the Yellows must be healers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the Browns do. I know that there is a Brown Aja, but anyway, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So the Yellows are healers, so it seems
Yeah.
logical that that's who she joined. And then Leandrin mentions, but she also
Mm-hmm.
likes rules and wants
Yep.
people to follow them, which
Yep.
seem to
And
be what the Red are supposed to be about.
yeah. And she's
Um,
very headstrong, and I mean a little. I want to say, is she really cocky, or is she posturing out of fear?
I
Because
think she's
what
posturing out of fear.
right? Because she says when Moraine sends Lan out of the room, and she's like, "Oh, you're not. How do you know that you guys shouldn't underestimate me is the mistake?"
Hmm.
Um, and she just looks at her like, "Dear, now there, calm down.
Hmm.
We could kick your ass with our eyes closed.
I like
Let's
how
not,
I like how Lan knew, like, let me leave the room,
mm-hmm."
leave it to them.
And just exchanged glances. He was like, "All right, I know you got this.
Yeah,
Clearly, this is Aes Sedai business.
right.
Love you bouts." And I think that it was smart of well, I don't know, is it smart or is it is there a motive to her letting her know that they're gonna try to recruit you because you're that powerful? Is she trying to help her? Is she like is what kind of seed is that? Is it I don't want to say that she's manipulating her, but is she manipulating her to get her to trust her? Because if I tell you that, listen, you're here, you're powerful, people are going to know that you're here and they're going to come for you. They're going to try to recruit you and they'll want you to be a novice. Does that make me trust you more when somebody approaches me?
Well, it seems like they mentioned Moiraine's been away from the tower for 2 years. She's not really
Mm-hmm.
caught up in tower politics,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem like she's trying to gain more power. I think she
Yeah.
was giving her a warning to protect her because she's worried about Leandrin and the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she doesn't know what it is they're planning, if anything, but she's obviously very concerned about them.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going on in the other Ajas either, as far as tower politics. And
Mm-hmm.
she's known these people for a long time, and I imagine every Aja has its own set of politics that could be
Right.
a problem.
Yeah.
So I do think she is trying to protect her, um, because remember she still doesn't know if she's
She's
the
still, yeah,
dragon or not,
that's true.
and
I,
I don't know, she seems to kind of care if they stay alive or not.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wrote down also that she should take her own advice. Right,
Mm.
like not to underestimate, she's telling stupid COVID brain, what's her name?
Alana,
No,
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve. She's telling Nynaeve not to underestimate, them, but she should also not be estimating because she has been underestimating because she has been gone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And things change. 2 years is a long time to
Yeah.
be away from the headquarters, um and so I feel like she's being a little bit too nonchalant. It is snowing, by the way.
Hmm.
Yeah. She's being a little bit too nonchalant about it for me, and it makes me worry and fear a little bit for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like she doesn't realize like what's going on. We already know the Amerlin Sea is not on her side, not her
And I
friend.
wonder why the
Mhm.
Emerlin has hostility towards her. I want to know what that's about.
I do too, and it makes me wonder like, is that the reason why she's been cast out or wandering for 2 years? Because Alana asked her, she's like, "What were you doing? Why the fuck haven't you checked in? Where have you been?" And she doesn't answer that. And I'd like on one hand, I want to believe that's because she was out looking for the Dragon Reborn, but on the other hand, we don't know what has happened leading up to that. Like what maybe something caused her to stay away.
Mm.
Maybe she I don't know. I have no idea.
And
It's all
why is
speculation.
Leandrin her enemy?
Yeah. Well, that little touch to the face was a little bit intimate for me, so I was wondering if maybe there's a
If maybe
past
they had a
there.
past.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And that was the other thing that was funny when she was like, "Oh wait, she doesn't share contempt for men,
Mhm.
so probably not gonna join Red Aja." But yeah, and I also wrote down for Leandrin, I'm like, "Who hurt you? Who hurt
Yeah,
you? Because
I
clearly you've got
wonder.
some trauma behind you." And like what she said was just so poignant. Like men still very much are in control of several aspects of this world, and when they see a woman with promise, it can be dangerous for her.
And
So it makes me wonder what happened to her.
so that combined with evil ass Valda talking about these women
Mm-hmm.
having this power and how it's not right and that it
Yep.
must come from the Dark One makes me
Yep.
wonder if Leandrin has a history with the White Cloaks, the Children
Oh,
of
I
the Light.
wonder. That would be. Oh, that's a good read. I like that.
Because it sounded like he was on the other side of the coin of what she was saying.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
Like
I
women
thought.
shouldn't have this power, they shouldn't be walking. He said it so contemptuously, like they're
Mm-hmm.
like they're gods among men.
Yeah.
And so combined with what she's saying, it makes me wonder, like maybe as a child, maybe she encountered some children of the light
Mm-hmm.
and, had to deal with some nasty shit. Who knows?
Yeah. I can see that. I have to say that I do really enjoy. I can't. I didn't look up his name, but I do really enjoy the actor who's playing Valda.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
doing
did
such a
look him
good
up.
job.
I
He's
did look him
such a
up because
good
I was
job.
like, I'm getting strong Caribbean vibes from him, but he's actually from Ghana.
Oh,
Excuse
because
me,
I
he's
I see like.
English of Ghanaian
Mhm.
descent.
Got it. Because I've seen him in something else, and I'm not quite sure what it was. I'm gonna have to figure that out because I know I've seen him somewhere else, and I enjoyed him in that too. Well,
He's
you
so
don't say.
deliciously evil, that
Oh
sleeveless bitch.
yes, I love it.
I was like, you
And I just love the
sleeveless
contrast
bitch.
of like that stark white against his skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got the little gray patch too. Love
Yeah.
it. Love, love, love.
He's always eating.
Mm-hmm. This motherfucker stays hungry.
Why are villains always eating?
Now they get the best plates.
Like being evil just makes you hungry.
I guess so.
The actor's name is Abdul Salis.
Mhm.
Do you watch Doctor Who? He was in that.
Oh, maybe that's where I've seen him.
Maybe.
I
Oh,
feel
he
like
was
it
in
was
Love
something.
Actually.
Who was he in Love Actually? Let's say his
Um,
name because I love that movie and 'tis the season for that movie.
it is the season. Let me see. He was.
Oh, I knew his face from somewhere. I don't think I've watched enough Doctor Who to place him. I do really like it. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to watch. But yeah, no, he's great, and I think that whole scene, he was interesting to me. Like after they catch, I guess should we backtrack and talk about how they catch Egwene and Perrin?
Yeah. Oh, real quick. He's the friend Tony. Juliet and Peter's wedding caterer
Oh,
Forbes' his
yeah,
friend
yeah,
Tony who
yeah, yeah,
plans to go
yeah,
to
yeah,
America.
yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, yeah, got it. Makes sense.
Yeah, let's backtrack a bit.
Tuathaban.
There's a lot to talk about with
Ah,
Egwene and Perrin and the Tuathan,
yes.
aka the
Just
Tinkers. My
But
first,
I just knew something was coming. I
because they
knew
were
it
too
wasn't that
happy,
easy. They were too happy.
just
Rand
frolicking
and
in the
Matt made it.
meadows.
They did, and Rand and Matt made it to the city too easily, like without incident. And I was
Well, I
like, you
wouldn't say
kind of all.
without incident. There's the whole
Well,
farm
okay.
family getting killed.
Well, yeah, but like once the tower is within sight, they just like they walk on through the gates.
Right.
And I just felt I was like, there's no way that these non-violent people are going to get away with just getting into the city. And
Their
sure
peaceful
enough,
protests, my goodness,
whew,
got met with
see shit.
violence.
Mm-hmm.
I did wonder, I can't remember what the young man's name is, but he says that they would
Starts
never
with an
that they would never kill a Tuathan.
A. Is he dead?
I thought he was just unconscious.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think that he was dead. I thought they just like hit him real hard because it was a
Yeah.
horse going full speed.
Yeah. I thought they just knocked him out. I didn't think they killed him.
Yeah.
But he said that they would never kill a Tuathan, and I wonder why that is. Is there something special about them that makes it
I don't
like,
know. Maybe
is there
there's
like a,
some kind
is
of
there
pact.
special hell for for people who killed Tuathan?
Maybe. Yeah, it wasn't clear, and like when he said that, I started to just have the sense of foreboding I had just grew
Because I'm
because I
like,
was
yeah,
like,
there's a
oh,
lot you can do before they're dead. When you say they
yeah,
won't, because we're talking
yeah,
about Valda. So
yeah,
you say, okay, he won't kill a Tuathan. It doesn't mean he won't fillet one.
yeah, exactly. And Valda says straight up later on, he's like, "Do you think that I give a fuck about the rules?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I wrote down that quote.
I've got no qualms about hurting you, bitch."
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I wrote down his quote because I was like, bitch.
Mm-hmm. I think I wrote it down too. Let me look.
What makes you think that I'm a man who stays true to his oaths?
Yes,
I was
which
like,
made me go, "Oh,
bitch.
oh." I was, yeah. It made me like him even more as a villain, but also hate him
Yeah.
more. Yeah. I
So,
appreciate when a villain's gonna go all the way in.
so they take Egwene and Perrin, and one of
Mm-hmm.
the first things that stood out to me was they undid her braid, and it made me wonder because the braid is the mark of womanhood. Is her being seen with her hair undone, is that obscene for Two Rivers people?
I'm wondering if one, if it's obscene, but also like Valda kept saying that when she kept calling him sir,
And
he kept saying I'm child, right? So you
mhm.
can't be a woman if you're a servant of the light, right? So he was basically taking her status down, so that she was not a woman, but she was also a child, and therefore equal in, you know, the eye of the light or whatever it's called. That was my read
But
on
he
it.
was he was calling himself Child Valda, not her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he was telling her to call him that, but he wasn't calling her Child Valda. I mean Child
Child
Egwene or
Egwene.
whatever. I just wondered if it was
Maybe.
like you
I
know how like in
wonder.
Stormlight you become a woman and your hand being
Yeah, it has to be
ungloved is
covered.
like
Right.
this obscene thing. Like it made me wonder
Yeah.
if women being seen with their hair undone like that is considered. But Perrin didn't seem phased seeing
Yeah.
her
He
hair
didn't feel
undone.
scandified. Yeah. Scandalized. Sorry. About it. You
Yeah.
know what's really interesting to me is that when they undo her braid, they like strip her down and they wash her, and they're
Hmm.
being so rough until they get to her hands. And there's just like a very gentle
With the
sponging of the
sponge and
hands and the
cleaning the
cleaning of the
nails.
fingernails. And I was just like, oh, wow. I felt that was, ugh, that was just, oh. Oh, before that, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the guest right.
Oh, right.
The guest right. They're like they've eaten our food, they've sat at our fires, reminding me of bread and salts
Yes, they
and
are
being
people
accepted by the
now.
people. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I just wanted to jump back to that. Because he saw them off the bat. Like, why like that's what
Well,
they get for being nosy.
he said that he doesn't forget a face.
Yeah. And they're being nosy. Like, why are you trying to see what the
They've
commotion's about?
they've been traveling for a month with them. They were comfortable.
Yeah. Tisk
Yeah,
tisk.
they got comfortable, and
Tisk
then
tisk.
ducking away and thinking they were just gonna run away to this friendly village. Like,
Where are you gonna go? You're running through the woods. They're not gonna see you. They have horses. It was so
yeah,
silly.
yeah,
Valiant, but silly.
very very silly. Oh, let's get into more Perrin and Egwene. So he thinks she's an Aes Sedai, and she flat out
Mm-hmm.
tells him I can't channel, so he knows that they can't lie.
Yep.
But
But
go ahead.
he does know that they can twist the truth,
Right.
right?
But her flat out saying I can't channel, like
Mm-hmm.
there's no like way to twist that to, because she really, well, first of all, she's not an Aes Sedai, so she can't lie anyway. I mean, she
Yeah.
can
So
lie,
so she could lie, yeah.
right? But why? Hmm. Well, I guess he told us why he wants to kill her because she can channel. And he doesn't think that people should have that power. He believes it comes from the
Yeah.
Dark One.
He thinks it comes, yeah, exactly.
I guess it's really just that simple.
It's that, I mean, that's the ideology, right? It's you can channel. If you can channel, that means that you are like this. How could this possibly be a good thing, right? How could it be a good thing if how is it good for a woman to be able to channel if they made it so that when men channeled it was bad, and just like the raging patriarchal unfairness of it all.
Mm,
Um, and it does in their worldview, it doesn't make sense for that to be, there's not two sides of the
He
coin. It's just
he
straight up
almost
evil.
he almost sounded a little bit jealous of
Oh
women
yeah, totally.
who can channel.
It seems, I mean, that seems where all of this stems from, is a bit of jealousy, because it makes you like, I feel like the hubris of it all would be like, oh, if I had that power, I would be able to use it for good. I would not break the world. I would da 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 da, like all of these things. But like, he's got no power, and look at what he's capable of already.
Right.
Can you imagine? Whew.
And to
Although I
think
think
that
maybe it would be a
any
really fun plot twist if he suddenly became able to channel and then went mad and got gentled by Leandrin. But that's my
that'd be
fanfic.
too delicious. Yeah, you're gonna have to write some
I'll
fanfic about
I'll
that.
write that. I'm dedicating that to you, Alicia.
Yeah, he sounded almost jealous in the sense that here's this power that only women can touch. It must be it must be bad, because if anybody should be able to walk like gods amongst men, it should be men.
Men.
He and remember the other white cloak, I guess he was like a general or something, who told her to go to an Aes Sedai and get healed. He obviously doesn't feel this way. So this obviously isn't like all of the white cloaks.
I don't know. He's an extremist.
Yeah.
He is an extremist.
He also mentioned or confirmed that they don't need to use their hands to channel.
Yes, he did.
And
That
he
was
called it a
very fun
crutch.
for me. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder why that Aes Sedai he had tied on the stake didn't channel.
Maybe she wasn't powerful enough.
Well, that's true. I could really just
And
be
we
that
don't
simple.
and we don't know how long he had her, because she was beat the fuck up.
That's true too. She could have
Maybe
just
she
been
was
wiped
too
out.
weak.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just, I don't know, if this was Vampire Diaries, they would have been draining her of blood to make her weak, and then just let her sit there.
And they're not witches like he keeps calling them. It's not like she's
Yes.
they're not actually witches. So she is a human. She may be ageless, but she is still a human. So she simply could have been too wiped out.
I would really like to know more about the White Cloaks. I feel like we're getting these little teases of them through his eyes, but I really kind of, and we're getting a little bit, like I said, they're getting a little bit of their ideology through his, like, from his mouth, right? But I for me need to know more. So if anybody has a non-spoilery way of hooking a girl up with some extra knowledge, drop it in the comments, please.
When he started pouring the wine on the knife, I was like, is he disinfecting it? And then I was like, their alcohol content wasn't high enough to disinfect a knife.
Not in my wine.
No. I was like, oh gosh. And then it's like, why are you being kind enough to disinfect it? Oh, so you can keep him alive longer.
He doesn't want the wounds to fester. But he didn't put it in the fire either, because he wanted him to stay bleeding. I was like, oh,
he wanted to bleed him out.
I really like the contrast of all these things, because you keep seeing like all this white against all of this red. Oh, so good.
Let's talk about Perrin.
Golden Eye.
Golden eyes.
Golden eyes in my Tina Turner voice.
And when he started getting tortured, I started hearing the howling.
Me too.
And I thought to myself, oh my God, the wolves are there. But then they didn't come. And I was like, what the hell? I thought wolves were going to come because I heard all that howling.
And you saw that little flash in the eyes, and I thought that my projector had glitched out. I was like, oh, that's what the fuck.
And then I wondered if the howling was in his head.
Is he warging?
So, like, is anyone else hearing the howling? Right? Like in a warging type situation. Like, is it in his head? As we know, it was not in his head.
That shit was for real. The cavalry was coming.
Was absolutely for real. And he finally got his confession.
I see. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, he got his confession that he killed his wife. And in that moment, I felt so bad for him because he really does feel so guilty about it.
Oh, man. My heart was breaking for him.
Making me hope that something comes out to just ease that for him, which is kind of terrible in a way. Because it's like, man, I hope something about this victim is bad to make killing her better.
Yeah,
It's
right.
horrible.
Because just look at him. He's like, I deserve what's happening to me. Like, how did you deserve this? You just got caught up. Y'all should have hid.
But
You didn't hide. But,
was,
like, you don't deserve this.
I watched the episode recap right before it started. And again, it did look like she was about to cut him down.
I'm telling you, her arms were raised. And
So
shout
I
out to the
wonder-
person in the comments who liked the thrill comparison.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot have my pain. Take that, Odium.
So when Egwene, when she channeled and shot that little fireball, the little sad little fireball that
cutie
didn't do
little
anything.
little fireball.
Like, oh, you tried, hun. When Perrin's bonds burned, my first thought was that Perrin channeled.
That was my thought
And
too.
I was like, oh shit.
I thought either that he
Perrin
channeled or
channeling?
she like faked him out with like, here's this little fireball, but I'm actually like setting my homie free. But then I was like, wait, that's not how that would work. And then I thought he really channeled.
Yeah, at first I thought he channeled, but on my second watch, I think that she burned his bonds. But I don't think she was faking out Valda. I think she really did attempt to burn Valda and it didn't work. And then she was just able to focus enough to burn Perrin's bonds.
But something
without using her hands.
Right. And something that Valda said intrigued me. He was like, wait, you think that's going to stop me? As if I haven't been like trained to like, deal with you, Aes Sedai, and your magic tricks. So I'm very curious about them.
Do you think Valda's dead? Because she stabbed him, but she kind of stabbed him like high up in the shoulder.
That wasn't a kill shot, bro.
That didn't seem like a
she
kill
got
shot,
him in
right?
she got him like up in the traps. Like, no, that's not. She didn't like no.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if the wolves got him or whatever, but like I said, off-screen deaths don't count. He's too important of a character.
Well, we'll see. I think
feel like
he's
he'll be back.
Just injured. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's injured, and I think that he's going to come for her now.
Because apparently only in Dorne does a stab wound like that kill you. I will never, ever let that go. Areo Hota should not have died from that.
He should not have died. That was bullshit. It remains bullshit. He was too... If you want to hear us rave and rant about that, check out our podcast about why they did Dorne dirty.
Oh, did Dorne so dirty.
Or how... anyway.
But yeah, I think perhaps Valda is still alive but wounded.
I think we get to see him again.
He's so evil. We got to get a little bit
Oh
more
yeah.
of him.
Yeah. It's like we can't just have Leandrin be the only force of evil left, and Matt.
And I have to say, like, the acting in this is so good.
It's so good. There's none of that fiddly acting that comes in like the first season of a show. Mm-hmm. Like all of these are accomplished actors, and everybody's doing such. It's so good. There's not like that weird settling in that you have to do when you're like, oh, okay, it's the first season. Everybody's still figuring it out. But as Melissa said, like because of pandemic, they were locked down and they got to spend so much time with each other because they were trapped, sheltering in place together. And it really shows. The acting is so good, so good. It's so beautifully shot. Colors are radiant. I love it. Yeah, I don't think that's the last we've seen of Valda, and he's scared too, because he's like, "Wait, what the fuck are you?" Perrin is something that he's never encountered before.
Yeah, that's something completely different. No one said anything about your eyes turning like a wolf's when you're channeling.
Like, who are you?
Completely different. And yeah, so obviously we're going to get into why these wolves feel so attached to him and why they're protecting him. We will find that out. That wolf seemed like it was talking to him too.
Yeah. He was like, run.
Told him something.
Yeah, get out of here. We got this. Run.
Run, bitch. Run for your life.
Gandalf the wolf.
Gandalf the wolf.
Run, you fools.
Oh man, the last last thing in the episode,
I need more wine before
which
this.
is also the first thing and the biggest thing.
Like, hold on. I have to get the moment we've been avoiding.
Well, this was hard. Um, Steppen. I don't know like how to get into it. Steppen. We start with. I mean, we open the episode with the Aes Sedai and Warder funeral, the first one.
Yep.
Um, the burial, I guess I should say, and we see Steppen's grief. He returns to the tower to return her ring and all that.
Wait.
Did you notice
Yes.
the reaction
Oh.
to people seeing the boots?
Yes. Yes. I made notes about that. But before we do that, because that was really because the boots were facing backwards in the stirrups, right? Which I think is a symbol of a fallen Aes Sedai. But before we do that, because we're talking about the ring, am I tripping? Was the green stone gone?
It was gone.
Where did it go? Because it was on her. They took it off her hand. It was there, and then it disappeared.
Right. When he dropped it in
He put it on his neck.
molten whatever.
But even before it was gone, when he put it around his neck, it was gone too. When he took it and like hung it, and I was just like, "What happened?"
So I wonder what they do with the stone.
What happens with the stone? Does it stay with the Aes Sedai? Does the stone have power? I don't know.
I wonder if the stone is a way to help focus their channeling.
Maybe, or is it part of the bonding ritual?
Maybe. But yes, it was definitely missing when he melted down the actual ring.
Yeah. It's curious. Yeah, I said the horse with the boot backwards.
And people reacting to it, gasping.
Oh my God, they were so shocked. I guess it's not
you know,
often
they
that
probably
it's
don't
not often.
encounter.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not often that an Aes Sedai comes back or Warder comes back without their Aes Sedai.
Yeah. When he was getting ready, I just looked at my notes and saw daddy issues, and that made me laugh. It's like, whoa.
Well.
But the not speech, but when he's talking to the other warders, Maxim and I forgot the other guy's name.
I think it's Ivan or Yvonne.
When he's talking to them, the way he talked about her, that's what I was looking for last episode.
Yeah.
Because this time I felt it in my gut, how close he was to her. The way he talked about her, and I feel like that's what I really wanted last episode.
Yeah,
before she died, was just something to show how tight that bond is.
I mean, I feel like I still didn't need it, but I liked it here too. I felt like it was much. I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like it was more natural coming out this way, like as a retrospective. Because it's just my note was like that she sunned him.
She really did.
She sunned him because he tried to fight her. He was on a bender and he was looking for a way out of this, these mortal coils and such. And she was like, no. Here's a beer.
Beat his ass and buy him a drink.
Like here's a beer. Calm the fuck down. And just to go through that whole. I also wrote that the music during this sequence was just so beautiful. Like I started crying when I was watching it. Yeah, it made me really sad because it was just very touching, and I felt the music just really captured the emotions here. But he talks about like how he was actually very honored, and her choosing him made him have to step up and become worthy of her friendship. And so you feel the loss that's really deep, and then you get the comic relief of I don't know which one it was, whether it's Maxim or Yvonne saying,
"My father tried to kill me when I was 12.
Yeah,
get over it."
Right? And the note that I wrote down here was that so many of the people who are living in the White Tower have like these troubled pasts, right? Like you've got Leandrin and whatever happened to her, and you hear this guy's dad tried to kill me when he was 12, and Steppen's father didn't love him. And then you find out later that his mother died when he was young, and it's like these people are coming from a place of pain.
And
like
land comes from a lost country,
yeah. And so like, what's going on, White City? Are we recruiting these broken people? Because it's like, are you like when you have assassins? Like you've got no family ties. Come on in, because you'll die for the one power. Like What's that about? Is that a thing?
Um, I also wondered, as he's talking about possibly bonding with Alana and her warders,
Mm-hmm.
do they ever bond uh with new Aes Sedai?
I don't know.
Like, is that a thing? Because what we were told is that they usually don't
They
live long
they
after the Aes Sedai dies. So I
yeah.
wonder how many of them ever do ever do
Ever
bond
yeah,
again.
bond again. Because he stepped and hit Lamb with the too soon, bro. Too soon.
Yeah.
Don't ask me don't ask tell me that there's
Well, because
yeah.
I briefly for a moment thought he could possibly bond with Nynaeve if he
Hmm.
was going to bond with
That's what
someone
I thought. That's
else.
what I thought too. I thought because he asked about her, and I was like, well, she's kind of your homie. You brought her into the fire. You all are chilling and shit.
And like, they have time. If she's a novice, they have time
Mm-hmm.
to get to know each other.
Exactly.
Well, obviously
Well,
do not have time because he died. But I also really liked seeing how when he was walking up to melt the ring, how all the other warders are really there for him
mm-hmm.
and how solemn it is.
Yeah, I thought that was a very beautiful ceremony, and I really like that they have their own thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's exclusive to
Yeah.
them. Like they did the joint ceremony, like the field burial, but then they have their own ceremony. That's just the dude bros together.
Yeah.
I really liked that,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's like gives you the whole circle of life. It goes back into the fire to be smelted again into a new ring for new Aes Sedai. Like way of the lead, like kind of like I keep forgetting her name, but Isla.
Isla. Yeah.
Isla in the way of leaf, she's like when the white cloaks are fighting or attacking them because they're not fighting back. She's like, you can do whatever you want to us, but we come back. Like grind us, burn the leaf, grind it into the ground, like destroy us, but we come back. And you kind of get to see that same cycle, the wheel in action
Mhm.
with the melting of the ring.
When it was on my second watch that I noticed that Steppen never drinks the sleepy time tea.
Mm-hmm. Did you write sleepy time tea? Because that's what I wrote too.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't drink it. He just watches. He watches him drink.
He just watches
And
them.
it's
So
funny
he,
because and when he asks Nynaeve for it, she's like, "You having trouble sleeping?" And she's like, "Well,
so
sure."
I thought he was gonna try to kill himself with sleepy time tea.
Mm.
That was what I thought briefly. Because I spent a lot of this episode not thinking that Steppen was gonna live. I had a few moments where I waffled a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kept thinking like Steppen's not gonna make it. When Lan first woke up, I was like, oh my god, if they show him hanging, I'm gonna scream.
I wasn't ready.
It was so sad.
I wasn't ready. Because
But
here's the other thing is that he's telling Nynaeve that like the pain is all he has left of her, and he wants to hold on to the pain. And she's like, well, it never goes away. It's gonna be with
big
you
news,
forever.
Betty. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that. I don't know if that's what he needed to hear. Um, but I think that at that point we already like he was playing a good game of making them believe that he still had you know that he had it in him
Oh,
to keep going.
remember I was saying the people that got locked away with the Dark One, the Forsaken. That's what I was trying to remember last time, and then they mentioned it this week, so I was like, oh yeah, that's what it was, the Forsaken.
Kind of like the
Ishamael.
Unmade.
Yes, like the Unmade. That's exactly what I
Mm-hmm.
thought of it as, is the Unmade. Um, yeah. So yeah, they were
Mm-hmm.
called and I knew it wasn't the Unmade, and it was driving me crazy, but it was the Forsaken. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's that.
Yeah, but you see him going through the ritual, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's doing these. I was like, you're doing some like I don't know if he's never seen him pray before because Len has been gone for 2 years
He's
too,
been on for
right?
2 years. Yeah.
And we don't know if this is actually a part of his thing or if he's just like going on his tour and doing all the things to like for closure before he takes his life. Um, yeah.
I did, when he was asking him about when Steppen was asking Lan about Nynaeve and basically saying that Nynaeve is in love with him, it made me
Mm-hmm.
wonder: do warders ever marry? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Do they have like any kind of like vow of celibacy or something like? Well, no, probably not celibacy because it seems like some of them smash their Aes
They've been
Sedai,
getting down.
perhaps. Um,
Or each other.
but it made me wonder what the word of vows might be.
It's a good question, but I feel like it would be hard for a regular woman to
No, yeah,
be with
but
a
maybe they
warder
marry
who's
their Aes
bonded.
Sedai. Yeah,
I don't know.
but I wonder if
Maybe.
they ever marry their Aes Sedai.
But do you need to be married if you're bonded like that?
No, I don't think so. It seems like their bond is stronger than marriage.
Yeah.
Um, also, so
Persimmons were
Stefan's.
in season though. Hold on.
I thought of you when she
Shout out
said
to
I
persimmons.
thought of you when she said that persimmons are in
That was
season.
the
Nikki
highlight
loves
of the
persimmons.
episode for me.
Was that what Alana was eating? Was she eating a persimmon? It looked like she had a fuyu persimmon when she was sitting in the bed.
Oh, I thought
It
it
could
was an
have been a
apple.
peach.
I thought it was an apple.
I thought it might have been a persimmon just because they said persimmons were in season and it was the right color.
Oh,
But
maybe
it
my
wasn't.
colors are off because it looked red to me.
Oh, I thought it looked a little orangish.
We shall revisit. That would be cool
Yeah.
if it was persimmon though, because yum yum.
At Stepan's funeral,
Hmm.
I briefly thought that at first I thought it was all warders, and then I was like, are there women warders?
Yeah.
But then I saw Aes Sedai, and I was like, okay, no, those must be Aes Sedai. But that would be cool if they're women warders, and I wonder if that's ever a thing.
Yeah, that's a
If
good
not in the
question.
books, maybe in the show. That'd be kind of cool. Um, the funeral scene was so
Yeah, I cried so hard.
beautiful and powerful. Yeah, it left me a little bit devastated too. Definitely hit me in the feels. It reminded me, I was telling my husband, it reminded me of my uncle's burial. I lost my uncle last year suddenly, and at his burial, we all gathered around the grave and we started singing a song. I'm getting like all choked up. We started singing a song, and his best friend, after when the song ended, his best friend started a new song and then just broke down and wailed. And when he let out, I mean, it was basically almost a scream. It just caused this chain reaction that just broke everyone else.
Oh man.
And so in that scene where they start pounding their chests and he tells Lan to put your hand on him and
To take
does he
the
say,
grief. He's like
take the
something like
grief
take the grief, like take his grief away or something like that.
from
And it's
us,
just like, oh
right?
my God. Yeah, I
And
lost it. I couldn't.
yeah,
Well, I couldn't even watch it on my rewatch because, as
yeah,
you guys know, my friend just passed, and I'm going to her funeral on Sunday, and it was it's too much.
yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, it just brought back this was some stuff that's I guess still a little bit raw for both of us,
Yeah.
having felt loss in this last year. Lan's grief.
Oh
In
my
my
God.
notes, it just says Lan's grief. My God.
I didn't even take notes so far.
Yeah.
I stopped after love's usually a bad idea.
It was just, whew.
It was, you know what? It was a little bit of a mindfuck for me because when the sun like started lighting up, I was like, "Ooh, I know how to do that trick in color grading. Ha ha ha. Can't fool me." And then they showed him on the floor and I was like, "Oh shit, he was drugged? Sleepy time tea?" And then I like after that I was like, "Oh no, this is bad. This is not good." And then just to see him there and it called back to me a moment where they're at Karini's side and Lan puts his hand on his shoulder, on Stepan's shoulder to like say it's going to be okay and to kind of like pull him back. And that's the same thing that he does when he finds him. He puts his hand on his shoulder and man, yeah.
Yeah, that
I had to
show
get
of
my
grief.
shit together after that.
Yeah, that show of grief definitely hit me in the feels. And yeah, it was a lot. And then I watched it again. I watched it twice,
Yeah.
and it wasn't any easier the second time.
Yeah. Couldn't do it.
And like they were acting, okay?
Yes. Oh my God. If this show doesn't get Emmys, it's
Oh my goodness.
yo. I wrote like I wrote the Forsaken, then in parentheses the Unmade, and then I have say her the mother's things, father of lies, and he wants to see the truth, like what's left for him. He's searching for meaning, or saying he's telling Len that he's searching for truth, but it's basically he's giving himself his last rites, and he's making his peace with this, because you see him when Len is drinking the tea, and he's just kind of watching. He's just watching, and he's like, it's like a silent goodbye. Another note that I had that's not about Steppen is that they're talking about just about the politics, right? Where the Amerlin seat is coming back, that the Aes Sedai have all been summoned. Suan Sanche, or I think, is coming back. And the thing about it is that Moraine has been gone so long. They know that she's strong, but they don't know what she stands for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leandrin is going around like telling people like spreading whatever propaganda she's spreading, and she's getting stronger. She's not as strong as Moraine yet. That's my takeaway. Is that she's not quite there, but she's might have the popular vote, and that the Amerlin seat's coming back, who I hope we will meet in the next episode. And for whatever reasons, she doesn't like Moraine. She doesn't like Moraine, but like Moraine, who's not there at all for influence, and is just trying to like be whatever she is. And the fact that Leandrin refers to Nynaeve as a prize, right? Like this is
Because of that show of power.
the show of power, right? Like she is a pawn in this political game that she wants to play. And I think that and I hope in the next episode we get to see a little bit more of the inner workings of the White Tower, and get a little bit more into their politics. And I don't know, is Moraine, like, we've got several things happening, right? Nynaeve and Matt and Rand are in the tower, and they're still looking for Egwene and Perrin. Are they going to make it? But now she's got to also, like, it's not that she's just got this one mission. She's back at headquarters, and she's got to report to somebody about where she's been. She's got to be accountable, because she's not, as much as she's like a secret agent in her own way, she still has to report to someone. So I'm like, I'm wanting to know a little bit more about that. And then also I want to know what happened to the White Cloaks. Like, did the wolves get them all? Or are we going to see like child Valder, like Valda crawling through the grass with his leg eaten and shit. And, yeah. Oh, I also like that Egwene took all the rings back.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yep, she snatched the rings when she left, right before she ran out of the tent. And so if they do end up back at the White Tower, like, what does that mean? Are they going to mount war against the White Cloaks? Are the Aes Sedai going to go to war? Because this was episode number 5, which means there's only 3 left.
Oh my gosh, there's only 3 more, and I feel like we just started.
It just feels like we did just start.
Oh yeah, we did.
It's only been 3 weeks. Something else that has nothing to do with this series, but reminded me of another series, was when Nynaeve was standing in front of the warder. Was it Nynaeve? Yeah, when Nynaeve was standing with Leandrin in front of the statues of the warders who had passed. It reminded me a little bit of the scene with Varys and Littlefinger in front of the Iron Throne, like chaos is a ladder.
The chaos, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is giving me all the feels here, and just making me recall that, because it's, cool just to see how power.
Revered. Yeah, it's cool to see how revered the warders are too. That there would be statues of them,
and I think it's good for Nynaeve to see that, because she thought, here she was thinking that they were just little servants and lapdogs of the Aes Sedai, and no, they respect. The respect is mutual. The respect is mutual, and they don't just pass on; they are memorialized. And for her to be a part of that of Steppen's, his celebration of life ceremony, was really important too.
Yeah, because she's not even a novice. you know,
Yeah.
they included
So
her,
who, Stebish was on the list.
right? It seemed like a pretty exclusive ceremony. It wasn't a whole lot of
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people are in that tower, but it's pretty huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And why, since we're speculating, um, why do Ogiers have access to the gardens?
Yeah, there's something special about them, right?
Mm-hmm. They can just come and go as they please. I mean, he went and found her for them. And it doesn't seem like because we know from Nynaeve's story that not everybody can waltz up in there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, another note I had was I thought it was a little bit ironic that, remember in the beginning where Perrin is talking to, his name starts with an A, and I have it written
The
down on my
Tuathan
phone.
guy.
Yeah, the one that wants to smash. That when he in the beginning he's like he sees their dogs eating some animal, and he's like, "Oh, you guys let use for some people who are non-violent, blah 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 blah. You're just like letting your dogs slaughter these innocent animals." But how quickly we change our opinions when the wolves are coming and taking everybody down.
Okay.
Right?
Changed his mind real fast.
I was like, isn't this the same violence you just... I mean, granted, they were slicing your back open, but, like, where are we drawing the line here, bro?
Yeah, but also it's like, come on, dude, they're dogs. Like, just because you're vegan doesn't mean your dog should be vegan too.
I tried it with my dog. She didn't like it.
No, you can't
Tips,
do that.
Tips loves blueberries and watermelon and shit.
Yeah, no, you gotta let these carnivores be carnivores.
My poor puppy. Yeah.
So we have 3 more episodes.
Well.
I meant to look up the titles.
But guess what? We're giving you bonus content.
I meant to say blood calls blood. So 2 things stood out to me with this title.
Mm-hmm.
One was Logain possibly noticing Matt and Rand. Mm-hmm. And 2 was Perrin and the wolves.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, blood calls blood. Obviously, these titles must mean something, right?
Yeah, but then you also have Karini and
Steppen.
And Steppen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the title of the next one? Let me look it up. The next episode is called The Flame of Tar Valon.
Ooh, yes. So
the next 3 are The Flame of Tar Valon, The Dark Along the Ways, and The Eye of the World.
Oh, The Eye of the World. Okay, great. Isn't that the name of one of the books?
Yes. I think, is it the name of the first book? I'm trying to look up at my copies to see what they say.
I think it might be. That's the only one I have in my Kindle, and then
Okay, then yeah, it is the first one.
But guess what? We've got bonus content. Melissa's coming back.
Yes, Melissa's coming back. We're gonna talk about the animated content and just about
the Q&A with
Rafe Judkins.
Rafe Judkins. Yeah. He didn't ask me anything on Reddit, and Melissa, because she's a fucking sweetheart, scanned for us so we wouldn't have to get spoiled to like save us from spoilers. So she's gonna be back, and we're gonna talk about the origin animated shorts and the Q&A, and she's got some other extra stuff for us. And since we're talking about Melissa, shout out to her mom for being obsessed with the show, and shout out to my mom for committing to listening to all the books before she watches.
Wow, that's a lot of listening.
Yeah, I tried to tell her. She wouldn't listen to me.
So we've been 1,000 Eyes on One. I'm Tanya.
I'm Nikki.
You can find us on the socials, Twitter, 1,000 Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, 1,000 Eyes on One, and also on YouTube, 1,000 Eyes on One podcast. Look for us, subscribe, all that stuff.
Like, follow, share, tell your friends.
Yeah, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week with the next episode.
Hopefully it won't make us cry so much.
Hopefully. Well, I imagine next episode we'll probably get some fighting. It's been too quiet this week.
Give me some violence. I'm ready. No more tears. I'm done.
All right. See you next week.
See ya. Theme song. Da-da-da.
Welcome to 1,000 Eyes and One Trivia.
Trivia, trivia, trivia.
I'm Tanya.
And I'm Nikki.
And we are your trivia queens. Join us on December 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern for some more Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire trivia.
This month, the theme is winter, so brush up on your knowledge of the others and the ice fighters because we're coming for you with some icy questions.
We'll be also streaming live on Twitch with music from DJ Radar Ellis. So join us. It's a party.
It's a party.